Why do I believe something that I don't know anything about?
Because you're an idiot?
Shut up and sit down, you big bald f***.
Please subscribe.
I used to make fun of people that believed in the flat earth.
Used to? What a quitter. And I'm more interested in your question. If you're a glober and you cannot answer these questions, you might want to ask yourself why you believe what you believe. Well, we don't believe anything. Belief doesn't come into it when every observation and every experiment shows us that the Earth is a globe.
I really did. I made fun of people. I used to do stand-up, because I still do sometimes, but I used to do stand-up, and I had flat earther jokes.
Well, those jokes must have written themselves, because flat Earth is a joke.
And then one day somebody asked me, why do you believe in the globe? I said, because we have video. And they said, okay, beside the video.
Right, even a flat earther should be able to decipher this one, because what that other flat earther said to you is, why do you believe that the Earth is a globe? And then when you said, because we've got video footage of it, that question actually became something different, which is, why do you believe or accept that the Earth is a globe, but you're not allowed to provide me with any evidence that shows that the Earth is a globe? See the problem there?
If there were no video, why do you believe in it? Because I said, I don't know, because that's what everyone believes. What, you think everyone is lying?
The idea of a flat Earth being concealed by a global conspiracy is just not credible. The number of people required to perpetuate the lie would be enormous, in the millions. Their motivations would be unclear, and the chances of maintaining such a secret is virtually zero, which is why flat earthers sound so ridiculous when they make that claim. It would be every space agency employee, every astronaut, every government official, every scientist. It's really?
Then they said, okay, fine, I get that. How fast is the Earth moving? And I said, I don't know, fast. How fast is it spinning around the equator? I have no idea. How fast is it going around the sun? No idea. What is the pole star called?
What's the pole star called? Well, it's called the pole star or Polaris. You weren't kidding when you said you didn't know anything, were you?
I said, I don't know. They said, when was it discovered? I have no idea. They kept asking me questions. I didn't know. And that pissed me off. Then I started really thinking, well, why do I believe something that I don't know anything about?
And yet, now that you're a flat earther, you seem confident enough to claim that it's all fake, even though you just admitted that you know nothing about it.
You should be able to answer these questions.
That's fine. I'll give it a go.
How fast are we spinning at the equator?
Oh yes, equatorial velocity. It's a bit like asking how fast a cheetah runs while also asking for the speed of the merry-go-round it's riding. Except in this case, the cheetah is us and the merry-go-round is the actual rotating planet we live on. Now, since we live on a globe, spoiler alert, and we complete one full rotation in roughly 24 hours, and since the circumference of the Earth at the equator is around 24,901 miles, a number we've known with incredible accuracy for a surprisingly long time, by the way, thanks to some clever ancient Greeks, we can use this to give a reasonable estimate of the speed. And to get that speed, we divide the distance by the time taken, which would be 24,901 miles divided by 24 hours, so approximately 1,037.5 miles per hour. But remember, that's one rotation per day.
How fast are we rotating around the sun?
The Earth, in its orbit around the sun, travels approximately 584 million miles each year. Now, since there are 365.25 days in a year, because of leap years, and 24 hours in a day, we can calculate the speed, which gives us 584 million miles divided by the 365.25 days, and there's 24 hours per day, which is approximately 66,600 miles per hour. And Just like with the Earth's rotation, we don't feel the speed because of, gravity and inertia. We're all moving together at that speed, so it feels perfectly normal.
How fast are we going through the galaxy?
This seems like so much work for very little reward, but the sun is around 25,000 light years from the galactic center. A light year being 5.88 trillion miles gives us a distance of 147 quadrillion miles from the galactic center. That in turn means an orbit of around 923 quadrillion miles, which is estimated to take around 230 million years to complete one orbit of the galactic core. And with a little simple division, again, we can work out that that gives us a speed of around 500,000 miles per hour.
Go!
That's what flat earthers think those figures mean.
What's the name of the pole star?
Polaris. Haven't you got Google?
What is the brightest star in the sky?
The brightest star in the night sky viewed from Earth is Sirius, also known as the dog star. Now I specify night sky because during the day there's another star that might just outshine Sirius by a tiny bit. Our sun. It's so close and so bright that it kind of washes out all the other stars. Bit of a show-off, really.
Who discovered the pole star?
Well, it hasn't really been discovered by any single person. It's been a prominent feature of the Northern Hemisphere's night sky for as long as humans have been looking up. And it's obvious it's the one star in the night sky that remains virtually stationary. It would be more accurate to say that various cultures throughout history have recognized its significance. Ancient navigators, astronomers, and storytellers from different civilizations, including the Greeks, Arabs, and the Chinese, all noted its unique position, and they used it for navigation because it sits almost directly above the Earth's North Pole, making it appear almost stationary in the night sky while other stars seem to circle around it. Phew, this is hard work. I know how Simon Dan feels now.
Yes, science!
When was the pole star discovered?
Why are you so fixated on the pole star? Trying to pinpoint when the pole star was discovered is like trying to figure out when somebody discovered that water is wet. Or not wet. It wets the things, it depends who you speak to. But you get my point.
What is ISIS?
Well, that took a turn. Moving on.
What is geocentric?
Yeah. Geocentric, a word that flat earthers like to use because it sounds impressively scientific, but carries with it an outdated and, quite frankly, flat earth adjacent worldview. Geocentric literally means earth-centered. In astronomy, the geocentric model is the idea that the Earth is the center of the universe and everything else, the sun, the moon, stars and planets, revolves around it. Little bit outdated, if you don't mind me saying.
What is heliocentric?
Heliocentric means sun-centered. Now in astronomy, the heliocentric model is the understanding that the sun is at, or very near, the center of our solar system, and the Earth, along with all the other planets, orbit around it. And before you say it, flat earthers, modern science has overwhelmingly confirmed through countless observations, experiments, and space missions that it's not just a theory, it's a well-established fact as fundamental to our understanding of the cosmos as the Earth being a sphere.
What is a lunar month?
A lunar month is the amount of time it takes for the moon to complete one full cycle of its phases as seen from Earth. Think of it as going from one full moon to the next full moon. That's a lunar month.
How many days are in a lunar month?
And is that a synodic month, which is the most commonly used definition of a lunar month, and they're around 29.53 days long, and that's the amount of time it takes to get from new moon to new moon. Now a sidereal month is a bit shorter, only about 27.32 days, and it is a less commonly used measurement, so I'm gonna go with lunar months are 29.53 days long. Tell you what, I hope the prize is good.
How many moon cycles are there in a year?
A synodic month is about 29.53 days, so we divide 365.25 days by 29.53 days. 12.37 synodic months per year. So there's 12.37 moon cycles using the synodic method.
When is the winter solstice and the summer solstice?
Sake, you don't want much, do you? You'll be asking me for a foot rub next? It depends which hemisphere you're in. Unless I know, I can't answer.
When is the spring equinox and the fall equinox? And what is an equinox?
Same thing. Which hemisphere? But while we're here, that graphic you got on the screen, you may want to get rid of that, because every time a flat earther tells somebody like me to do our own research, we do, and guess what we find out? That you're all complete morons. And wrong about everything.
What is the circumference of the Earth and the circumference of the Moon?
At the equator, around 24,900 miles. Pole to pole, slightly smaller, about 24,860 miles. Oh, and the Moon, that's 6,784 miles in circumference. So, ask me another.
How far away is the Moon?
238,855 miles away from Earth, which is about 30 Earths away from us.
Do you understand exactly what's moving? Is the Earth moving? Is the Sun moving? Is the Moon moving?
Well, as much as flat earthers won't like this, the reality is that they're all moving.
When was Paramount Pictures first using their globe image as an introduction?
Late 1980s to early 1990s. I can't be asked to look it up.
And when was the first time we ever knew the Earth was a globe? We ever actually had a photo of it?
Well, Eratosthenes calculated the Earth's circumference in the 3rd century BC, so I'm gonna say since then. And as far as the first picture, well, that would be Apollo 17. You know, the blue marble image that you all hate. But you hating it doesn't mean it's not real.
Okay, when was NASA invented?
July 28th, 1958. But it wasn't invented, it was founded.
When did Aristophanes discover that the Earth was a sphere?
Aristophanes? Who's he? Do you mean Eratosthenes? And I just said it was in the 3rd century BC, there or thereabouts.
When did he do that? And what did the experiment actually prove? Because it doesn't at all prove we're on a sphere. That's wrong. That's incorrect. You got to go back and read the experiment.
Well, duh, yeah, of course it's wrong, because you're a flat earther, and didn't you say at the beginning of this video that you know nothing about any of this? So what qualifies you to say that Eratosthenes was wrong?
What is the Phoenician Canaanite, or aka Hebrew word for beguiled?
You think it's NASA, don't you? Well, you'd be wrong. It's actually Nasha. Like this. Oh yeah, and it also depends on the context it's being used in.
Okay, what is the name of NASA's first manned missions to space?
NASA's first human spaceflight program is called Project Mercury, which ran from 1958 to 1963.
What is the name of the dog star?
We covered that earlier. It's Polaris. What did you think it was, Rover?
What 3 stars make up the summer triangle?
Vega, Deneb, and Altair.
How far away is an average horizon if you were to look out at the beach?
Well, the distance of the horizon depends on the observer's height, doesn't it? But a reasonable estimate is around 3 miles for the average person at the beach.
Now I'm asking, what does science say for all these? Not what Flat Earth says. If you can't answer what science's explanation is for these questions, you should go back and learn. Because when you learn the answers to these questions, you will have more questions.
Yeah, but only if you're a flat earther and those answers completely destroy your entire worldview. For everyone else, the answers are perfectly acceptable because they're all supported by years and years of evidence.
So when I get crap from people, and I'm not done, I still have more questions.
Well, then you're going to have to hope that somebody else answers them, because I'm done. And to the person who said in the comments of one of last week's video that I'm no better than a flat earther because I only go nah-uh, suck a fat one. Thank you all so much for watching, except for that guy, and I will see you again on, what day is it today? It's Wednesday. I'll see you again on Friday. Love you. Bye.
I don't think so.
This one isn't from the comments. I've known this joke for years and it popped into my mind literally now this second. So a guy is sitting on his living room sofa watching the TV and he hears a knock at the door. He goes, opens his front door, looks around, there's nobody there. And he hears this really quiet voice saying, "Mate, I'm down here. Look, I'm down here." So the guy looks down and there's a snail on his doorstep. So the guy looks at it in disgust and boots it over the roof of the house opposite his. Anyway, he carries on with his evening, enjoys the TV and whatever. So next night, exactly the same thing happens again. He's sitting there watching TV, there's a knock at the door. He opens the door, nobody's there. He hears the same voice. "Oi, I'm down here." So the guy looks down at the snail and the snail says, "What do you do that for?"